Good morning. For the first time in about 4 years, the government grants aid to Pyongyang, decided on the day the Unification Preparatory Committee is launched. Summer school for international students. Korean universities are expanding the number of available classes to cater to an influx of hungry minds from abroad. Korean golfers make headlines. What about golf gear? Get a look at Korea's leading domestic-made golf ball brand. And the summer sun and humidity can do a number on your skin. Products to help you find the fountain of youthful skin on Korea Today, Wednesday, July 16th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Thanks for joining us on Korea Today on this Wednesday morning. I'm Oh Jin-ju alongside Kim Min-jung and Kim Young. The scorching heat for the past couple of days has raised the UV index to its highest level nationwide, and it's actually gone up to its highest level, the very high level. And that's when if you stay outdoors for 20 minutes, you can get skin irritation or red
It's
skin.
like sunburn.
Sunburn. All right, well, now the Korea Meteorological Administration, they have announced a screening system and a forecasting system for 2 different types of ultraviolet rays, including UVA and UVB. Now, if you're curious what those are, I really didn't know about this until now. Now, UVB rays are more prevalent during the months of July and August, while UVA, they're more prevalent during the months of May and May and June. Yeah, that's right. So it's more in the springtime, right? But UVA, that is the rays that are responsible for wrinkling, as well as age
that's
spots.
the stuff you don't want. But it's not like you can pick and choose which UVA, UVB. What you can do is go to the website of the Korea Meteorological Administration and check the levels of UV rays for that day. In any case, put on plenty of sunblock as you head to work.
That's right. Keep those wrinkles away, right?
Don't want them. All right, we'll jump right to our top story this morning. South Korea will send some 3 billion won's worth of aid to North Korea in a humanitarian gesture. A unification ministry official said Tuesday the government will dip into the Inter-Korean Cooperation Fund to finance NGO projects in providing the $3 million worth of assistance in the North's agricultural and healthcare industries. This marks the first time the government is pitching in to support Pyongyang since sanctions were imposed in May 2010 to ban all cross-border trade and investment following a torpedo attack on a South Korean warship. Seoul's latest move comes on the day the South Korean government launched a presidential committee that aims to prepare for the reunification of the 2 Koreas. This series of initiatives is leading some analysts to believe that Seoul may be gearing up to lift the sanctions against Pyongyang.
South Korea slammed Japanese minister's recent visit to the controversial Yasukuni War Shrine, saying that it was a direct challenge to neighboring countries victimized by Japan's wartime atrocities. 5 Japanese cabinet members, including Justice Minister Sadakazu Tanigaki, on Sunday paid tribute at the shrine, which also honors Class A war criminals from the Second World War. Seoul urged Tokyo politicians to end their anachronistic behaviors. Japan has been on a path of nationalistic historical revisionism with its decision to reinterpret its right to collective self-defense and its review of a landmark apology over its wartime sexual enslavement. Meanwhile, Japan's Kyodo News reports that a periodic review on Japan's implementation of an international pledge to uphold civil and political rights began on Tuesday in Geneva. The 2-day review looks into issues of human rights, including the sex slave issue, and protests involving hate speech demonstrations targeting particular ethnic groups and nationalities. A report is to be released by the UN committee at the end of this month.
The newly tapped Finance Minister cum Deputy Prime Minister Choi Kyung-hwan will kick off his official duties this morning. He is expected to hold a press conference in which he will unveil his resolution to revive the economy by vitalizing the real estate market. Since his nomination last month, Choi has hinted at rolling out a package of stimulus measures, including the easing of the debt-to-income and loan-to-value regulations, which would enable borrowers borrowers to take out more housing loans. The DTI and LTV restrict the amount of housing loans a person can borrow depending on their annual income or the value of the home. Some observers are concerned, though, that this deregulation plan could lead to heavier household debts.
With a growing number of foreign students coming to Korea for their studies, Korean universities are seeking to expand and diversify the programs they offer, particularly for summer courses. And today, Arirang News' Shin Se-min tells us what aspects of these college programs are attracting more and more students from abroad. Good morning, Se-min.
Good morning. As you have mentioned, nearly 100,000 international students are currently residing in the nation. Also intriguing more colleges to provide and design different courses and even scholarship opportunities for those taking part in summer international courses. Now, with that in mind, let's take a peek at what draws foreign students to spend their summer months in Korea. Introducing themselves in Korean and sharing their backgrounds in a foreign tongue. Students from over a dozen different countries gather in one room, all practicing their Korean skills with other international students. This is not like any other language course, rather it is a common scene at Korean universities over the summer months. A number of private universities in the nation provide international summer courses geared towards all type of college students from all over the world, with professors also being invited from a number of different countries. From Singapore and India to Germany and the Netherlands, students come with different goals in mind.
I wanted to minor in East Asian languages and specifically Korean, Vietnamese, and possibly Chinese or Japanese. And I've been to Japan and Vietnam, so Korea is my next stop. The lack of exposure that I have in the U.S., we kind of just learn U.S. history as opposed to Asian history, so I felt like for someone who is partly Asian to explore more into the cultures.
The opportunity to spend a summer overseas while adding college credits isn't reserved for those with money readily available.
As a university, a nonprofit organization, we have the obligation to foster young students regardless of where they come from or their background. So we try to broaden our view by inviting students from the countries we like to work with and eventually letting globalization work on our campus.
Great benefit for us because we get to come here with the scholarship so that we can have a good opportunity to stay here, like learn about new things of Korea people.
To differentiate their experiences while spending a summer in Korea, universities sometimes send the students outside the classroom and into internships at Korean-based companies, organizations, and even broadcasting stations. They also host a program every Friday where both international and Korean students socialize and immerse them in cultural activities. Visiting professors say the Korean International Summer Course is one in which both the professors and students can learn.
It's a process, it's a learning process. And by having a course like this one where people are mixed up in different levels, different disciplines and different cultures, I do think it's a good training for them in the future to get jobs because they will face the exactly same issues with people they don't know who have a different background and a different culture.
I didn't first believe that there could be totally different perspectives from different countries, but they could find some things that were not that I could have found if it was only by maybe Koreans.
So, Se-min, I can see that Korean universities are doing more to improve the quality of education they provide.
That's correct. There were some concerns that many of the Korean international summer courses offered to students are only light and even less educational, even implying that the summer courses are just economical Korean travel package for those geared targeting international students. However, to such accusations, Korea University in particular have mentioned and have emphasized that they are doing their best to raise their level of education by bringing in professors from prestigious universities while also selecting students with the qualified skills.
Mm-hmm. And tell us some of the courses that are most popular among foreign students.
Sure. Actually, many of the universities have emphasized that they are expanding the number of courses related to science and technology. Now, due to the concentrated amount of students taking such courses during the summer, universities have said that they are trying to give more options within such material courses. Now, keeping up with the trend, universities have also mentioned that it is also due to the branding image of Korea that says Tech Korea.
Not surprising, but at the same time, very interesting. Thank you, Semin, for that report. That was our Shin Se-min reporting on the summer courses provided for foreign students in Korea. Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Yesterday, President Park Geun-hye held a luncheon meeting with the newly elected leader of the Saenuri Party, Kim Moo-sung, along with 3 other members who were elected to the Supreme Council. She called for cooperation from these new leaders of her ruling party for economic recovery and national reform. Let's take a look at a corresponding image here on Joseon-ilbo. And this is the president shaking hands with Kim Moo-sung ahead of the luncheon. And this headline beneath the image there are words spoken by Kim. He said he will propose to hold regular meetings with President Park. Now, in an interview with The Daily, Kim said that he would suggest having such regular meetings so that he can constantly and directly deliver the voice of the public to the president. And here in the subheadlines, it says that there will be no future for the Saenuri Party if the presidential office of Cheongwade and the ruling party maintains the current vertical top-down relationship. Now, he did also previously mention that a ruling party led by him would aid the government as best as it could, but would also issue firm objections when necessary. And now let's go over to Gyeongyang Shinmun. Taking a look at this headline here regarding the upcoming visit to Korea by Pope Francis. Now, the story is titled, Father Scanone says Pope Francis will deliver a message of peace during Korea visit. Now, let's take a look at what this story is about. So, these are words coming from one of the teachers of Pope Francis, Father Juan Carlos Scanone. Now, he said Pope Francis will give out a message of peace during his visit to Korea as the Pope understands the painful and divided situation of the two Koreas. However, he added that the Korean Catholic Church must be at the forefront of pushing for peace on the Korean peninsula, stressing that the Korean people are the ones that have to truly want this the most. Now, next up is 동아일보. We'll take a look at this image here. And this is on a domestic issue. Now, the picture is titled, Student Survivors of Seoul Ferry Disaster March to the National Assembly for Truth. The caption explains that some 30 surviving students from Danon High School were on a walking march towards the National Assembly building in Seoul, asking for a thorough investigation into the truth of the tragic accident. They were holding flags like this one here. It says, please reveal the truth behind the undeserved deaths of our friends. The students are to arrive at the National Assembly this afternoon. And now let's go on to some business stories. First up on the Mail Business newspaper. Taking a look at the top story, it says the government to release $30 billion in the latter half of the year for revitalization of the economy. Now, if we take a look at this bar chart inserted inside, we'll go into this. Now, it shows the government will be allocating funds to stabilize the livelihoods of the public. The government will be
supplying almost $11 billion to reinforce financial affairs and increase fund management, while providing an additional $20 billion to support the financial policy. So that will be a total of about $31 billion US. And now wrapping up with a look at the Korea Economic Daily. The top headline says the early summer Chuseok to cause panic in distribution industry. Now taking a look at the sub-headlines right here, they're saying that Chuseok, or the Korean Thanksgiving Day, will be coming around this year very fast compared to previous years. In fact, it will be the earliest period in 38 years. Accordingly, the retail industry has already embarked on preparation, and there is an urgent state, in fact, for securing the supply of newly harvested fruits, and the retail industry is preoccupied with bringing in the sufficient volume in time for this unusually early holiday. Now, if we look at this graph, it shows the forecast prices for food goods that will be needed for 제사상, or tables for ancestral rites during Chuseok. The prices of major fruits such as pears, apples, sweet persimmons, as well as chestnuts, they're expected to jump sharply, as you can see in the graph. Now, these prices are expected to jump by between 25% and 50% based on a week prior to Chuseok. And that was a look at your newspaper headlines for this Wednesday. And now coming up are the stock numbers from Tuesday.
We are looking at overcast skies across the country today, but don't let the clouds fool you because the UV rays are still very strong.
That's right. You got to get that sunblock on, right? We did have a little bout of rain this morning, but we'll see how the traffic commuters will be facing today, this morning. So we'll go now to Jeon Sung-cho.
Good morning to you, Sung-cho.
Good morning, guys. Today we're seeing overcast skies nationwide, and some parts of the southern regions and Gyeongsang Nambuk-do provinces are receiving light precipitation. As a monsoon front continues up the peninsula, by tomorrow the whole nation is expected to get more rain. However, it won't last too long, just until Friday, and doesn't look to be a significant amount either, adding more concern for farmers whose lands are already suffering from drought. Especially in the central regions, the average precipitation for this time of the year is merely a half of the annual average. Its impact is showing in the quality as well as the quantity of produce, and some reservoirs are drying out or turning green with algae blooms. By the end of this month, the monsoon season expected to come to an end in the central regions without providing satisfactory rain, so the damages seem to get even more severe, and temperatures will remain high all across the country. And with that, let's take a closer look at today's temperature readings. Midday highs remain scorching hot in the central regions, with Seoul being the hottest at 32 degrees Celsius. The southern regions, such as Busan and Jeju, are getting affected by the monsoon front, thus showing cooler temperatures. This is all for me with the weather forecast. Back to you, Min-jung.
A morning commute for hundreds of Russians turned terribly wrong on Tuesday when their subway in Moscow derailed underground. We'll get the latest on this and others from our Eunice Kim, who joins us from the news center. Hello there, Eunice.
Good morning, Min-jung.
I would imagine the number of casualties to be quite high.
Right, the cars were packed as it was rush hour. Right now, authorities are saying at least 21 people have died, but that figure very well could climb, as dozens were in critical condition when airlifted out of the disaster area. More than 130 people were injured, and state-run Itar TASS news agency reports 3 metro train cars derailed in that tunnel located in Moscow's deepest metro station, making rescue efforts 84 meters underground challenging. Dozens of ambulances and helicopters were dispatched, and by Tuesday afternoon, the rescue operation became a recovery operation as Moscow's mayor declared a day of mourning for the dead. Multiple Russian officials have ruled out terrorism as the cause. Some reports say a power surge was to blame. An investigation is underway. Moscow's subways are used by some 11 million people every day. Israel has warned it will intensify its offensive on Gaza after the ceasefire brokered by Egypt was torn into pieces with the flat rejection of it by Hamas. Israel resumed its airstrikes on Tuesday after suffering its first casualty in the week-long conflict. Police say a man in his 30s delivering food to soldiers was hit by one of the 125 rockets fired by Hamas militants since Tuesday morning when the truce was to have started. Israel had held its fire for some 6 hours in the morning before resuming its aerial assault in the afternoon local time. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he would widen and increase the offensive, vowing to destroy Hamas's military capabilities. Hamas has said it could not accept the truce that offered no real gains for Palestinians, particularly as nearly 200 Palestinians now have been killed in the 8-day conflict. It called for more mediation that could prevent clashes in the future.
And we have some news out of China. A group of families are suing the Japanese government for a massacre during the Sino-Japanese War, and they're asking for record compensations.
Right, 6 billion yuan, that's about 960 million US dollars. That's being claimed by villagers of Panjiaoyu in North China's Hubei province. They're also demanding an official apology from the Japanese government for the death of their family members who were massacred back in 1941. As you said, the Japanese had said the village served as an important fortress for Chinese soldiers during the Sino-Japanese War. Now, the entire village was destroyed. Of its 1,700 residents, nearly 1,300 were killed. The lawsuit is being filed by a private federation, the China Federation of Civil Claims. Meanwhile, the Chinese government is continuing its campaign to raise global awareness of Tokyo's wartime atrocities by releasing one confession a day of a Japanese war criminal. Most recently, Commander Shuichi Kikuchi revealed that he personally killed 1,122 Chinese, raped 29 women, and approved medical personnel to perform dissections on 2 living people, among other testimony. And that is a wrap of the global headlines we are following this morning.
And still to come on Korea Today, golf fanatics won't need any introduction to this company, the only Korean company to produce golf balls made solely with homegrown technology. We're talking about Volvik and its colorful golf balls today on Strike Gold.
The indie culture here in Korea has been rising steadily with the addition of new groups that come out on a daily basis playing at local clubs around Seoul as well as the rest of the peninsula. And one of them who shot to fame is 10 centimeters, also known as 10cm here. And our Im Yoon-hee joins us to talk more about them. Good morning.
Good morning. Right, so this indie culture has really been thriving in Korea, especially here in the capital. Now, the area of Hongdae has become a cornucopia for the indie culture. So in this next report, take a look at the beloved group, indie rock group 10cm, and their new endeavors.
The 2-member band, 10cm, first debuted in 2010, becoming a rookie amongst emerging Korean indie bands, with the release of their single, Americano. Kwon Jung-yeol and Yoon Chol-jong have both shown off their talents at both instruments and vocals. And after a successful release of their first 2 albums, the group has come back with a 3rd album, set to be released later this year, the title still undecided. They'll be holding a concert next month at Sogang University in order to give a preview of their upcoming album, but also to choose a name for their next album. The concert will consist of interaction between the musicians and the fan members in an intimate setting where the band can get feedback as well as ideas for their third album.
They do have that sound that really does ring out to the audience there. Now, some people say that K-indie is going to be the next big Hallyu because of the talent out there.
Right, so people are really searching for ways to expand Korea's music industry.
Okay, so 10 centimeter, they don't have a name for their third album, which means, hey, it's like a reality show. You can come out with a name for it, everyone pitch in their ideas.
Right, so this concert, this mini preview concert, they really want it to be an intimate interaction between them and the audience. They really want this to be dedicated to the fans. So tickets do go on sale starting today, and this is a rather small concert, so those who are fans of 10 centimeter really want to jump on that, as it looks like they're going to run out. There are a lot of people here who really do appreciate 10 centimeter.
Now, you did mention the Hongdae area, which is the Hongik University area. That's where a lot of the artists as well as musicians, they kind of frolic over there to try to play at some of these clubs. And it cannot be left out when it comes to indie culture.
Right, so I'm sure you've noticed it's a very unique area to be in. You can really see the indie culture thriving there. The indie music culture really thrives there because of the various clubs and bands that do feature indie live performances of indie rock bands on a daily basis. So when you go, you could pretty much find around every corner just different indie groups performing. So that's a really unique opportunity that you can only find in that Hongdae area.
And I've also seen that increase in street performers as well there.
Right.
Now, the indie bands, they have something different than just the regular K-pop or idol band, right? They really do strive to be something different.
Right. So, of course, you know, all bands want to succeed and they want to do well. So, but unlike K-pop bands, you know, it seems like these indie bands, they really want to stay away from mainstream and kind of make a name for themselves and be a little bit different. So sometimes that can be hard, but they really have been proving here in Korea that they can stand despite the overwhelming presence of K-pop here on the peninsula.
All right, sounds great. We'll be looking forward to seeing them more on the international stage as well.
Right.
All right, well, thank you very much, Uni.
Always a pleasure.
And still ahead on Korea Today, that muggy humidity as well as the heat, the sun's rays just beating down on your skin. Now, it does a number. And what can you do about it? You can attack it by moisturizing with different products. So don't be passive, take action. Here's some easy options available that are simple, convenient, and effective on hot items.
So who is the most beautiful woman in Korea? Up for debate. But, well, the much anticipated Miss Korea pageant was held last night.
Right. And the pageant isn't as popular as it was in the past, but it still has many searching for who was picked as the most beautiful woman in Korea. And for more on this and other keywords, our Seo Mi-sorang joins us from the digital room. Good morning, Mi-sorang.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, for those of you who missed it, and for those of you who want to see it again, let's recapture the final moments. Narrowed down from some 50 contestants, the two joint runner-ups were Shin Soo-min from Gyeongsang-buk-do Province and Lee Seo-bin from Gyeonggi-do Province. But there can only be one queen of the night, and the prestigious crown went to Kim Seo-yeon from Seoul. The 22-year-old beauty is currently studying business administration at Ewha Women's University and will represent Korea in the upcoming Miss Universe pageant. So gorgeous. Moving on, with the summer heat soaring high, more and more people are affected by heat exhaustion and heat strokes, especially among the elderly and young children. Meanwhile, this year's Daegu Chimek Festival is starting today, so head down there if you can't get enough of your chimek, Korean for chicken and beer. Some entertainment news now. Actor Kang Dong-won and actress Song Hye-kyo will star in an upcoming film titled My Palpitating Life. And the first set of movie stills is now out, so let's check it out. Based on the best-selling novel of the same name, the movie centers around a young married couple played by Kang Dong-won and Song Hye-kyo and their teenage son who has progeria, a very rare genetic disorder characterized by premature aging symptoms. The film illustrates the couple's love and sorrow
as they try to come to terms with their son's nearing death. From the pictures that you just saw and the storyline, it sounds like it'll be quite the tearjerker, so don't forget your tissues when it premieres later this September. Now moving on to our last item of the day, there must be a lot of people wanting to camp at one of the national parks next month because since yesterday, when the National Park Service website started taking in reservations for the first half of August, so many people have accessed the site that it is still crashing every so often. And with that, it's a wrap up for today's edition of your Daily News Sum Up.
All right, it's time for our Wednesday segment, Strike Gold, taking a look at some of the small and medium-sized enterprises that are making big waves here in Korea. And for Jessie Day.
Good morning.
Good to
It's a
see you
golf
guys.
term, right?
Yeah, do you guys like to play golf, hit the green? Right now is the perfect time. It's summer, right?
It's too hot.
Well, I do enjoy to play golf from time to time, but I'm not very good. And hopefully the company we're featuring today could help me out a bit. They do have a patented golf ball technology. They're called Volvik, and they are seeking to change the way Korean golf brands are perceived around the world, as well as bring some color to golf courses around the globe. So let's find out how they did it on today's edition of Strike Gold. The global golf ball market for tours amounts to about 40 million dozen per year. Korea makes about 3 million dozen golf balls a year, coming in at third place in the world in terms of the market size. But the Korean golf balls were often considered low quality and cheap. Volvik managed to change this, starting with their signature colored golf balls.
Velvet balls feel heavy, so they're great for hitting low, and they're also easier to control.
It's easy to spot in the field, and it rarely gets lost.
Of course, there had been colored golf balls before Volvik, but Volvik was the company that really changed the way that people think about them.
Around the time more people started playing golf at night in Korea, I saw golfers struggling to find their own balls at night and thought what it would be like to use different colored balls.
When Volvik rolled out its colored golf balls equipped not only with the great designs and colors, but also with superb technology, the market response was hot. Volvik began making golf balls since the 1980s, but the company suffered through some severe financial problems at one point. The employees, however, came up with new visions, new aspirations, and put all their efforts into developing an innovative product. Believing that the success of a golf brand depends on its technology, Volvik equipped itself with various expensive devices, such as a swing machine designed to test the driving distance, and the state-of-the-art ball flight analysis system, TrackMan, and is set out to become the best in the world.
The tests show that Volvik balls go 4 to 5 meters further compared to balls of other brands when hit with the same amount of strength. It also spins less at the beginning, resulting in better accuracy than other brands.
A well-made golf ball can be measured through these three factors: long driving distance, accuracy, and softness. Volvik trumps over international brands in all three. In the case of their triple-layered three-piece ball, the surface is denser than the core, which makes the ball more accurate and soft to hit. Volvik patented about 40 such original technologies, both at home and abroad. One of Volvik's signature patents include one for its color golf ball technology. Previously, the colored balls were known to have shorter driving distances because the golf ball's dimples would get filled up with paint during the coloring process. But Volvik's colored golf balls are actually made with even less paint than the white ones, resulting in no such losses. Volvik currently manufactures 12 different types of golf balls and focuses especially on the triple and quadruple layered premium balls, trying to establish a high-quality, high-price reputation.
60,000 pieces are manufactured each day, which is about 5,000 dozen. Of these, 4,000 dozen are for local distribution and 1,000 dozen are for exports. Once the construction of the second plant is completed, we can make about 3 million dozen more per day.
Volvik now exports to some 30 countries around the globe, raking in about 10 billion won each year. Volvik is letting the superb quality of Korean golf balls be known around the world. Today it's the #1 colored golf ball maker worldwide, but hopefully in the near future it will become the #1 golf ball maker around the globe.
And you've brought with you some golf balls.
Yes, very colorful, very vibrant, as you can
see. It comes in pink.
I especially love this
light pink.
There's a
one.
light pink
That's
one too. That's
perfect.
beautiful.
And as was mentioned, it
Little
makes them a
girls would
lot
love
easier to
these.
find as well.
That's right. It definitely stands out from the regular white balls in the fluorescent color.
Can I see the case also?
Absolutely, yeah.
The case is quite interesting too. It's different from the ones that are the conventional ones that come in boxes.
Yeah, that's right. They're trying to make
Question
it
is,
more
how do you open it?
eco-friendly.
I think you just pull it out. It's taped.
And that's because Volvik's been involved in making their product more eco-friendly since 2012. That's due to the fact that, a lot of environmental damages seem to be caused by unclaimed golf balls. So in addition to the packaging, making that more eco-friendly, they've also set out to employ a system where people can turn in their used golf balls for new ones, 100 old ones for 12 new ones, and they themselves have set out to claim their own golf balls too. So they're really making strides to be more eco-friendly.
Okay, I'm still trying to get this open.
I think it's just
There, I got it. It churns like this, so you can take it one by one.
I see. Can
There
I
it
get
is, here.
So you just
Like
turn
that.
it around. Yeah, exactly. Like
There
a
you
little,
go.
Interesting.
It was so easy.
It just takes
I
a while.
still can't do it. Oh, there you go. Okay.
First,
It's
okay,
like
golf is a
it
slow game. You have
slides
plenty of time
That's
to try
right,
this.
yeah.
open. Cool. Pretty neat. Huh.
All right, Jesse, there's some 3 million golfers here in Korea, and we have a lot of Korean pro golfers in the LPGA especially making waves, and a lot of people doing very well in the PGA as well. But we don't really hear that much about golf gear.
Yeah, that's true, and that has been quite a challenge for Volvik, is that a lot of the top Korean pro players in the international circuit going to all the big tournaments, they're using international famous brands. And those big tournaments are really a huge platform for companies to grow their marketing. And so Volvik is seeking to make sure that their brand name is more recognized, that people understand the technology of their balls is superior, the ability to hit more accurately as well as for them to go farther, and just to, in general, continue to increase the perception of Korean golf brands from low price, low quality to something that is really top level.
Right,
So they're putting in a lot of efforts in marketing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the cornerstone of their marketing campaign, both at home and abroad, is high quality, high price. So they're doing that to distance themselves from the lower quality brands and to let consumers know that when you go with them, you're getting what you pay for. And they've also implemented some fairly unique word-of-mouth advertising. In fact, they went after the foundation of the golfing industry, which is the caddies. And so the CEO himself actually spent a lot of time with different golf caddies explaining to them the technology of the Volvik balls and how they're superior to the others. And so the caddies then passed on that information to their customers. And also they advertised on the caddies' vests as well. So that was quite a unique approach that made a lot of success for them.
The advertising sure helps.
Yeah.
Right, so Volvik is making a lot of approaches to the industry. So what are their plans ahead?
Well, long term, they're looking to continue to expand internationally from 30 to 45 different countries. In addition, in the next 2 to 3 years, they're going to be opening another manufacturing plant, which will allow them to make 3 million dozen more golf balls per year. And so they're making a lot of efforts and strives. They're also getting into the white golf ball market, and they plan to take over 20% of that market domestically here at home.
This is really interesting. If you look at this case, it could work as a piggy bank
That's
as
right.
well. Once you're done with the balls, you can just put in save coins.
Right,
Look at
recycle it.
how neat is this? Wow, I wish I had a coin on me. Do
Well, I
you
don't have a
happen
coin.
to have?
No,
All right,
no
well,
change here.
right, interesting, isn't it?
Well, yeah, if you look at the core of the balls as well, with Regular golf balls that are colored, they actually would have an additional layer on the outside as well, which makes them heavier. And that was always the issue with colored golf balls in the past, was the additional coating of paint. And it would fill in the dimples around the ball, so they would actually have a shorter driving distance. So with these ones, also the core being lighter than the outside, it allows more control, more accuracy. And of course, the bright colors make it easier to find when it's later at night. And that's an eco-friendly thing as well, because it allows people to claim golf balls that they might not normally be able to find.
Okay, so the color is in the cover.
Yes.
I'm still having trouble opening this. I did it once.
Forget it, Young. Thank you, Jesse, so much for covering this story for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, even those special golf balls aren't going to help my golf game, so not going to talk about golf today. Instead, we're going to kick things off with the Incheon Asian Games, as talks related to the North Korean athletes have been making the headlines a lot lately. And the latest news, there's a possibility that the two Koreas might cheer together at the Asian Games. Now, according to the website called With Our People, North Korean table tennis star Kim Hyuk-bong expressed his desire to have the two Koreas cheer together during the Incheon Asian Games. And he stated that the last time the two nations cheered together with the unified Korea flag was one of the most emotional scenes in his life and would like to see it again. Despite the ongoing political tensions, it is possible that the two nations might come together to cheer on the athletes. And now moving over to the women's junior handball team. After advancing to the World Women's Junior Handball Championship Finals for the first time in 23 years over the weekend, the South Korean junior team beat Russia for the gold medal and returned home with a warm welcome. And at the center of it all was 20-year-old Lee Hyo-jin, who won her second straight MVP honors, this time after finishing off the World Championships with 64 goals. And of course, after leading Korea to a championship victory for the first time, she expressed her desire to play over in Europe, as many fans have their eyes set on Lee Hyo-jin to one day lead the senior team. And now moving over to the South Korean national football team. When manager Hong Myung-bo resigning from his post last week, the Korea Football Association has been looking for his replacement, and they might have the guy they're looking for. And that man is Ulsan Hyundai Tigers head coach Kim Ho-gon, who had a ton of experience as a head coach, even with the national team back in 2002 as a temporary head coach. Now, he also has won the Asian Champions League in 2012 after going undefeated, and won the honor as the AFC Manager of the Year. Now, though it's not confirmed just yet, sources say that it looks like the national team will soon have a new head coach. And now finishing things off in the KBO with a couple of games canceled due to rain, as the NC Dinos and the Tucson Bears rained out, as well as the Lotte Giants and the Nexen Heroes. But the Hanwha Eagles continue their winning ways as they beat the SK Wyverns 8-3. So with that said, let's take a look at these Hamsung Lions take on the LG Twins. And of course, going into the game, here we go over to the second inning of the game. Bases loaded for Chae Kyung-chul. He walks and it's 1-0. Next batter, Baek Chang-soo at bat, and he's gonna walk as well, and it's 2-0 without a hit. Now, Oh Ji-hwan, next batter, this time a sac fly to right field. This scores Son Ju-in, and it's 3-0 LG. But the sixth inning down 4-0, red hot Park Sung-min, and there it goes to deep left, gone, and it's now 4-1. But in the eighth inning of the game, bases loaded for Chae Kyung-chul and a double to left field. This clears the bases as the LG Twins cruise through 7-1, your final score. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
So humid and so hot, it's really not the best conditions for your skin. I'm breaking out these days.
Oh,
I don't like this.
I can't see anything right now. But anyhow, it seems that the humidity is around, and the sun's rays, I think that does the most damage there.
Right.
And one of the keys is to moisturize and take care of your skin. So we're going to get a look at some items that do exactly that.
Our Oh Jin-ju is standing by with Peter Bint. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning. As you guys mentioned, the biggest beauty concern for women is, of course, skin trouble during the summer because of the hot and humid weather. It creates more sweat and sebum during the summertime.
Even for women
right.
as well. Wow, I didn't know that. But we've got some great skincare products, perfect for this summer season. Let's start with the paraffin bath over here.
Bath. I've never tried it before.
It smells good as well. But one of the things, this is not a new item per se, but the problem is that it takes so long to melt the paraffin usually, like 3 hours or something. But this new patented technology only takes 38 minutes, you know.
38 minutes?
Yeah, it's fantastic. You can do your hands and your feet in there. So why don't you give it a try, okay? The wax has already been melted in here, so we don't have to wait 38 minutes. So if you dip your hand in there for just like a second or so.
Ooh, it's kind of warm.
It's not too hot?
No, not too hot.
And that's right. You take it out, put it back in about 3 or 4 times.
Can you see the coating in here?
Sure, yeah, you look like a mannequin almost, right?
And then I'll dip it in several times.
Yeah.
So how does this wax melt so fast compared to the massage shops we go to?
It's got some great technology here. It's called PDH, patented heating technology, which is press down heating. So what happens is a heavy heating board presses on top of the wax as opposed to beneath it. So when the wax just melted on top of the heat board, it would take maybe 3 hours or so, but this is up to 3 times faster, just 38 minutes, because it's pressuring the wax, increasing the surface area and the efficiency of the heating. So now you can just take it out and leave it, because you're starting to look a bit strange, that hand. But I think that's all moisturized now, right?
It's now nicely coated. I'll keep it a few seconds like that.
Sure, it's going to dry. And then what the wax does there is it locks in all the moisture, because obviously there's no air getting to your fingers or your hands at all. So it's just moisturizing within. So all you need to make sure is that your hand is dry and clean before you put it in. And then you leave it out there for 4 or 5 seconds, and then you just peel it off, and you've got wonderful, soft, supple hands. Like I said, you can do it with your feet as well.
I'm feeling weird now, so I'm going to take this off.
And it smells nice, right?
Yes,
it's got a nice aroma.
Right. And as you can see, I can peel it off like this.
It's almost like a glove.
Yeah.
You could keep that as a souvenir for your kids one day.
And my hands feel so warm and moisturized and much more softer.
They look really supple. The glove looks a bit freaky, but you can reuse that. If you're the only one using the paraffin bath, you can melt it again.
Oh.
So you don't have to waste the wax at all. So that's a fantastic feature.
I think it'll be great for your legs and feet as well, because we wear sandals during the summertime, right?
Sure, exactly. You don't want to go to the beach with ugly feet, I guess, as a woman. As a man, that's unavoidable. So
I have it all peeled up.
Yeah.
And then we'll move to the next item.
Sure, so you've got nice hands now, okay? Now we're going to
hands.
move on to the face, which I guess is maybe the most essential for anyone, right? Here is the Hera Biosonic Cleansing Enhancer product, right? So I want to show everyone how it works live here in the studio. I'm going to rub the makeup off your face. No. Not your face, off your hand. Let's put some lipstick on your hand. As you do, this is something that happens often, right?
Oh. And removing your makeup is more important than putting on your makeup.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so first you put some foam cleanser on the brush itself, just a couple of squirts. Okay, and then you turn it on, and then all you do is rub it gently on wherever the makeup is.
I can feel the vibration.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. If we take off the foam,
And
clean,
it's
no
clean,
lipstick.
No lipstick.
How amazing is that, right? and that's right, you pointed out the vibration, right? So there's the button to turn it on, and these fine bristles, they vibrate. So what that actually does is clean within your skin as well as the outside with a micro massaging effect.
So how can you use it on your face?
On your face, you have to obviously put some warm water, lukewarm water on it, then put the cleansing foam directly onto your face, and then just use the brush, like to brush your face.
And the vibration does everything for you.
Exactly, so you don't need to use any strength or anything like that. And it gets much deeper, all the dead skin cells and things like that, any impurities that your hands wouldn't be able to get to. You know, this brush is fantastic for that, especially after a long day. And it feels like you're getting a facial as well.
Right, but I'm concerned that I have kind of a sensitive skin. So does it irritate our skin some way?
No, not at all, because
of the
there's
vibration?
different features, right? Once you turn it on, there's a power button here. Then above it, there's a button for the 3 different modes, okay? So you just push this button, and then it vibrates with varying ferocity, I guess. It's got a sensitive skin, gentle version, a regular one, and then also a special mode. And another thing is, if you use this too long, it could damage your skin. But what this has is an alarm after a certain amount of time of using it.
Wow.
It beeps, and then you need to stop using
Very
it, okay?
convenient.
Exactly. So you don't, I don't know, friction off all your skin from your face, right?
So what if you want to wash your face when you're taking a shower? Can we use it in the shower as well?
I guess when you're getting ready for the show, you need to do it quickly, right?
Right.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Have a shower, wash your face. Totally waterproof, even IPX8 certified, which means you can use it in the shower. Another great feature is when you charge it, you don't have to plug it in directly. It's got this magnet touch system, and that's how it charges. That's it. Amazing, right?
Wow.
You don't have to plug it directly into the wall.
So convenient. And it's waterproof as well.
And it looks nice. It'll probably match your tablet PC, your smartphone as well.
White color, I like.
Exactly, yeah. So that's for the makeup, okay? Because cleansing, like you said, is so important with your face. Last but not least is this pad over here. It looks like a set of scales almost, right?
Right.
But especially in the summertime, I don't know about you, Ginger, but when I use a towel, I feel so sticky after I get out because it's quite hot, right? So you don't feel completely dry at all. But this is the answer to all your problems. IMB Air's Oz Wind. It uses air. It's a fan, basically, a giant fan to dry your body.
And it says a body refreshener.
Yeah, so it makes you feel nice and cool, okay? So how this works is there's lots of jet streams that blast up from the bottom, right? And using different technologies and some infrared ions in there, it also stops against harmful bacteria, which is fantastic. And this mat is totally non-slip, right? So you're not going to fall on it or anything like that. It's antibacterial, and if there's any leaks detected, it will automatically shut off, so it's totally safe for kids and whatnot.
So how does it work? We just have to step on it like this?
Sure, if you put on some weight on it, it'll start. That's a pretty firm fan, right?
Oh.
Okay, as you can see.
So we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
So you can see the paper coming up with the wind.
It's very powerful, right?
And once you get off it, it'll turn off right away.
Exactly, so it doesn't waste any electricity. There's one on the floor here. I'm not going to ask you to do it because you're wearing a skirt, so that's very inappropriate. I'm going to stand on it. Hopefully it won't blow up my trousers. And I can feel like all the air coming in through my trousers, up around my chest. And it uses jet streams to make sure... Oh, it makes me look quite buff, actually. And it's even drying my armpits now. They're a little bit wet, I will admit.
Of Marilyn Monroe there.
I was going to say.
I stole your line.
You did steal my line. I've been preparing all segment long to say that.
And what's great about it as well is it's got a heater inside, so you can use it in the winter too. Are you going to use this,
Yeah,
Minjung?
well, we're going to just invite ourselves
moment?
over. Yes, because if you want to try the Marilyn Monroe.
Are you going to try it right here?
Very, very powerful.
It's probably inappropriate that I do, but yeah, Young, just try.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
give it a try. It feels really refreshing.
It reminds
even
me
in
of
the
a
suit.
scale. I don't like it.
Wow, how far? Wow, the wind is quite strong.
So it comes all the way up to your hair and everything. It's
really,
fantastic.
in one go.
And you don't have to bend down to press the button.
Right, you just get on it.
And you've got hands-free as well.
I have to try this.
It's really good. The texture.
It's quite hot, but.
So in and out about 3 or 4 times.
Okay. Just sorry. Just had to try it.
Your hands look nice enough anyway, Mitch. I'm sure you don't need this. And then it just dries. You take it off.
Wax on, wax off.
Right. I want to give it a shot, Young.
I don't know. It's kind of creepy to me.
No. It feels really good.
It feels
afterwards.
good.
How hot is it?
Hands are so soft.
All right.
You can, it's a home appliance too. You can keep it in your home.
Absolutely. For your feet as well after a long day. Get someone else to peel off the wax. It's like a massage.
Exactly.
All
Get your kids to do it, right? This is how I want to close the show today.
Then I need to do it too.
Yeah, don't forget to peel it off. Don't go out like this.
We'll do that
shake
after the
people's
show,
hands.
after we wrap up the show, all right? Okay, well, that just about does it for this edition of Korea Today.
All right. Enjoy your day today. Remember the sunblock and moisturize and all that and more for the great skin. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Ooh,